All right, guys, welcome back for part one, which is going to be making a land. What you're going to need is a pencil, an eraser, a permanent marker. You know that it's the permanent one because it doesn't have any white on the cap or the end. It's just solid black. It's this permanent marker. We want to use that one. And we also need a plate of beans, which is kind of weird, I know, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. So the first thing you need to decide is your land going to be on the coastline? A state like Florida is on the coastline, so you would have some sea or ocean next to some land, and that land would probably go on past what we can see on the map. Your second option would be an island. An example of an island would be Hawaii, where you've got some islands here and maybe some teeny small ones off to the side. You could do several large islands if you want to, but the idea about an island is that it is surrounded by water on all sides. Your third option is going to be more like a state or a kingdom. That is going to be called an inland nation, and we live in an inland nation here in Nebraska, so that would be different lands on all sides of it, so it's kind of locked in by all land. Today I'm going to show you, I'll do with the beans a little demonstration and show you all the different types. So what we're going to do is just get a nice handful of beans and lay them out on your paper. Then what you're going to do is start to spread them out. Just giving them a little tap and move them around with your fingers. And what I'm doing is putting the basic shape of my map, and this is my land, what I'm going to trace around. So what I'm doing is making the border with the beans. Now the beans, it's okay that I have these gaps in here, and I actually want those. They might represent lakes or mountains or something later on, but for today in this tutorial, we're just going to worry about the outside edge. So there's some places that I want the edge to come in. And this could be a nice bay right here. Maybe I want it to get a little thinner here. And then I have a peninsula sticking out into the water. That would be an idea. If this was a state, it might be good to have maybe no bay, because we're imagining that there's other lands next door to it. So they're going to all be together like this. We can come in just a little bit for an inland nation. But like if it's an island, then you probably want to have some little extra beans where small islands would pop up offshore. I've got a little bit larger one over here. So how the earth is formed, and this is part of why we want to have small islands off the coast, is these mountains are going to start growing out of the water, or they can start receding, but there's going to be several different places where that happens on our map. All right. So I think this would be a nice island. If I wanted to, I could make it a coastline instead. And what I would do then is just put some extra beans here to show that the land is going to continue up past the paper. I think I'm going to stick with the coastline today. So just keep moving them around until you feel like you're happy with the layout. And then the next step is to get your pencil, and we're going to trace around the beans. Now we're going to do this really slowly. And I don't want you to just circle the beans. We want the land, the coast, and around where the island meets the water to be kind of jagged, not real sharp, pointy, back and forth zigzag line, and not like a bubbly curved line. Something in between is going to look natural. So I might go back and forth around these beans, following the general shape, but letting my pencil veer a little bit aside. You can kind of wiggle your pencil around. You might say if you had a shaky hand, this is how I would draw. Take your time. This is really important that you take your time and go around each and every section. Now some places might come in where the water would go more inland like this. You're going to continue all the way around your beans. I'm going to add a few just little extras. Okay, when you're all done, what you're going to do is put all the beans back in the middle and roll it up like a tortilla. And then you'll be able to just pour those beans back in. Okay. All right, so this is what I've come up with for my coast land. I think I'm going to add a few more islands right here. Just a little bit smaller ones to fill up some space. And do the same over here. I really want these islands and nations to look like they could be real. So add anything that you want to add there. We're not going to do any other natural landforms in here on part 1. We're going to save that for later. So the last part in this tutorial is going to be to get your Sharpie, and you're going to start tracing around your lines. Now if you change your mind a little bit, say I wanted to come in just a bit here, I want to change the way that the water meets the land, that's okay. You don't have to follow your lines exactly like you did before. Just continue all the way around until you finish your nation. Okay, now finally I'm going to take my eraser and erase all those pencil lines. Okay, you should have a nice little map. See you in step 2.